and he also has the worst amulet in Skyrim. A cooldown on Thuum. Get that out of my face, bro. That's the worst one.
First of all, I'm sorry you've never known the sheer thrill of Fusro dying someone off a cliff and then being able to do it much sooner because of the cooldown on that amulet. First of all. Second of all, you know what? Again, lightning storm. The whole thing becomes lightning. Cooldown on shouts is amazing.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Warhammer Versus. Today we are having a matchup of absolutely titanic figures in two different settings. On the one hand, in the red corner we have the Amber King, and in the blue corner we have Pancreas Newerk, or Colin as we like to call him. And this is a match between emperors, the Emperor of Mankind of Warhammer and Talos from the Elder Scrolls series.
He loves you.
He loves you. I will be
Discount Emperor. Discount Emperor.
Oh, please.
Oh, it's already kicking off. So, because Eli is currently in honeymoon mode from his wedding, insert. I wonder what Eli is doing at the moment.
Oh shit, farting on my roommate's door. Ha.
So with that in mind, I will be the sole judge for this episode. I want a nice clean fight between the two of you. For anyone who's not seen our last episode, we're going to have 3 rounds, 6 minutes on the first round, 3 in the second, and 1 vitriolic round to round it all off. But before we begin, the pain that's going to ensue, first of all, let's talk to Hal. How do you think things are going to go with this debate?
Oh, I think I've just got the better character on my side, so let's just, I mean, why are we even here? You should concede straight away. Actually, I'm probably not going to win, but oh well, I'll try.
Wow, fighting words. And what is your response to that, Colin?
I smell the fear in that last line he threw. He knows he's not going to win. He knows.
As someone who is crossed blades, shall we say, with Colin in the debating arena, I do not envy you, Hal. So, I think it was a resounding success for Colin in the last episode, but this one we'll have to wait and see. With all that said, I suppose we'll start with Hal with round 1. Are you ready, Hal?
I'm ready.
Okay, take it away.
So before we get on to Mr. Schrodinger's douchebag over in the corner over there, Your Honor, I am talking about the Emperor of Mankind, the Carrion Lord, basically the one who's supplying all of us with our current employment. He is the most powerful psyker in the entire galaxy. Here's some of his little special abilities is he can actually change his entire form, so some people never even see his true face. He can read minds, so any of you having dirty thoughts such as Talos worship, I see you in the corner. Yes, he knows all about it. The Emperor can see the future to the degree that he can even see futures upon futures, multiple timelines. He also has the power to imbue objects with his own, I was about to say special source, but his own power. So he could imbue like his own sword with just flame, and I'll go into more specifics later. And he could even send his mind across the galaxy. So when the listening Primarchs were all scattered from him, he literally close his eyes and peer out into the universe. And particularly for Colin, may I remind you of the story when the Eldar were infiltrating the Imperial Palace and they were in the presence of the Emperor and they were just in awe of him. Yes, this is some Eldar hate. Even they acknowledged...
After a lot of dead custodies.
After dead custodies, but even they acknowledged how powerful the Emperor was. The Emperor is a perpetual. He cannot die, even from old age. He can regenerate even the most grievous of wounds. One I'll talk about later. But like I say, he's literally immortal. He cannot, he can die and die, but death cannot hold him. But if we start from the beginning of the Emperor's story, he is most likely some of the most greatest conquerors throughout human history. Didn't just conquer one land, Tamriel, he conquered the earth and worlds multiple times. He may have even been Alexander the Great, for all you history people out there. He even battled a Catan shard of the Void Dragon one-on-one, proceeded to say that wasn't good enough, rocketed up to Mars and locked it within the core of the planet itself, just because he could. Why not? For the millennia, the Emperor has lived. Yes, millennia, not a century. You know, some people die, you know, they have mortality. That sucks. The Emperor has watched humanity grow. He's been there the entire time, contributing to science, art, technology, things you couldn't even dream of being possible. The Emperor has been part of it. He's been the architect of it too. He also lived during the golden age of mankind, the height of our power, knowledge. He was there. He saw it, not a measly little small, was it the Third Empire? Third time the charm, I see. And when humanity fell into darkness and we were going to be lost, the Emperor himself became the Emperor so that he could save humanity with his grand plan. He is the only man to literally step into hell itself, emerge more powerful than any other being in the universe, and then he also walked away from the Chaos Gods with knowledge and power that he had no right having. Yeah, he literally, he basically went in and said, I don't care, I will not be corrupted. They couldn't even corrupt him. Horus sucks, I'm just saying it. They even call him the anathema because the entire Horus heresy was architected because they were afraid of the Emperor. From his own DNA, he made the literal demigods of the setting, the Primarchs, the most interesting characters. Actually, no, that's a bit fun, not fair. But he also crafted the Custodians, literally the perfect warriors, perfect humans. He even has the greatest army in the galaxy, the Space Marines, which are definitely on all of our shelves for people who are listening. And he also led the Great Crusade. He literally conquered the galaxy in a few short centuries. How long? I'm pretty sure it took Talos most of his lifetime, so that sucks, mate. And even when the heresy began, it literally took all of the Chaos Gods to send the hordes of hell upon him, and he held back their power from Terra by himself with just his mind. And even when all the Chaos Gods decided the Emperor needs to be taken down a few pegs, they had to power up Horus. 4 Chaos Gods, 1 Horus. They had to power him up, and Horus still got clapped. That's right. Even after the 4 Chaos Gods tried their best, the Emperor was like, I wasn't really feeling it, but I'll just go for it. And he flexed himself, and he beat down Horus in one go. And dare I say, bringing in Colin's favourite character, Mr. Gilliman over here, when Gilliman met the Emperor in the 41st millennium, he even says his power has only grown. And he is well on his way to becoming an actual god in the Warhammer setting, one that will rival even the Chaos Gods themselves. And if I have enough time, I'll talk about the awesome story of when he stormed into the webway with the Custodians, the most air guitar ripping scene in the entire setting, where he literally was described as a sunlight beaming through and literally eviscerating the forces of hell. I think that's my time.
That's time. That is 6 minutes. Wow, that was a very riveting start. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it, but there are church bells outside my flat as we speak.
Celebration.
That celebration of the Emperor of Mankind. That's a very strong start. Colin, are you ready for your rebuttal of that?
I am indeed ready for my rebuttal.
Well, your 6 minutes start now.
Well, let me just poison the well from the get-go and say that Hal was caught supporting the Thalmor in the Discord, so anything that comes out of his mouth must be known as the word of a dirty Thalmor supporter, so just keep that in mind going forward. But let me tell you about Talos, who's also an Emperor of Mankind, but so much more than that. You see, Talos was born just a mortal man, and you might think that's a strike against him, but consider this. The Emperor, he's been a perpetual god for quite some time, And yet it still took him, 30,000 years to get humanity's act together after it kept falling apart. Talos was having none of that, and as still a mere mortal man, he conquered all of Tamriel. He brought it under his control into, yes, the Third Empire, but that's hardly his fault. There were other empires in human history before the Emperor of Mankind. There were emperors before Talos. This is his start. So, Talos, quite an amazing general. He's, I said general twice. Amazing warrior is what I meant to say one of those times. He was also something known as Dragonborn, which I'll talk about a bit later, but you might be familiar with that if you played Skyrim, or have existed on the internet at all. Talos, in 1 year, took Cyrodiil, and just kept going. But let me tell you something that Talos is also great at doing. Diplomacy and talking to people, which the Emperor probably could use a lot more of, but Talos, Tiber Septim, he knows what's up. And so, through not just having the biggest dick around, he actually smartly brought everyone into the fold, be it the Somerset Isles and the High Elves, or Morrowind, the Dark Elves. Unfortunately, he did not honor the Sixth House and the Tribe Unmourned, but he still brought it into the fold. He also had a magical Warhammer Titan, Warlord Titan, Numidium, except unlike the Emperors, whenever you turn that thing on, reality breaks. So I'd love to see the Emperor try and take over Tamriel when he flips the continuity error robot on. And of course, we wouldn't be just debating him if he was just, the mere mortal man of Tiber Septim, although there was nothing mere about this mortal, for he became the god Talos, and that is when Tiber Septim really comes into himself. Because, you talked about the Emperor's godhood, the strength, let's talk about Talos' strength. So first of all, he completely remade the landscape of Cyrodiil. He remade it from a lush jungle to a wonderfully pleasant, a nice great grassland. Good lord, I'm really bringing out my Heimskar with how passionate I'm about Talos. And not only, he just remade the land with magic, he did it retroactively. So, the Emperor, he gained a bunch of power, but before he gained that power, he was still the old Emperor. Talos made it so that Cyrodiil was always a grassland. It was never a jungle, even though it was a jungle. It was always a grassland. That's how goddamn powerful he is. Now, speaking of power, that Dragonborn thing I mentioned is very important, because in the Song of the Dragonborn, the thing that gets released every 5 minutes when Bethesda's releasing Skyrim again, it says that the Dragonborn has the power to rival the sun. And in the Elder Scrolls, that's not just, that sounds cool, it sounds powerful. The sun is a hole into an infinite void of magic and pure unlimited energy. Which means if you take that at face value, and I very much think we should, Tiber Septim's Talos' power is unlimited. Not as powerful as the Chaos Gods or the other ones. Endless, boundless. And of course, that's before we even talk about things like Chim. Chim, also known as how much LSD did you take when you wrote this lore? Essentially, Tiber Septim is beyond God. He's aware of the nature of the universe and can remake it to his content as such. It is as if the entire universe is naught but Talos' lucid dream. So Talos, he doesn't need to fight the Emperor, he just goes into the NPC list and deletes the file. No more Emperor. But of course, that's not all. For Talos is more than just a god, more than just a hero of men, general, emperor, leader, warrior, whatever have you. Talos, upon his ascension to godhood, became a pillar of the world itself, of all of reality. Now the Emperor, if he dies, that's bad, I will admit. But it won't be
1 minute to go.
Instant game over. Because, Chaos will still need time to take over all of the galaxy. The other Xenos, the Orcs, the Necrons would need time to really mobilize to this affair. If you take Talos out, game over. Reality zero sums, resets to nothing. Which should go to show you just how damn powerful and important he is. Take the Emperor out, it sucks. You take Talos out, there is no more reality. He is such an integral part of existence, showing just how powerful he is, how unbelievably amazing as a god this being is. He's completed the 9 divines. Umaril could not be slain without the full 9 divines. Talos ascended, backing them. And it was with him that the Pantheon of the Elder Scrolls was completed. And I feel like I need say no more. Also, I have like 30 seconds left, so...
You have like 2 seconds.
Not even.
Very nice. Well, that was a riveting start. I'm just going to go... I mean, the bells have also been chiming at the end of that one. It's a very interesting parallel.
What do you think?
Well, both emperors were mortal once. They were both given kind of a MacGuffin. You know, the emperor had the ability of the first Psyker. Talos was the Dragonborn. Both have extreme power in I guess you would call it magic powers. I like what Colin said about, you know, Talos file deleting and his contributions to Tamriel itself. But then again, Hal also mentions things like the Emperor of Mankind is a bit of a scholar and a scientist, but also a conqueror. And both have enriched the lives of and histories of where they're from. It's gonna be a tricky one. I mean, I have not cast my vote either way yet. There's still a lot to play for. The bells have resumed for the next volley. So with that said, we've got a 3-minute round to go. How are you guys feeling at the moment?
I'm feeling confident because I just know that in a 1v1, he'll just clap him, so it's fine.
Ooh. I feel well supported in my skills at internet arguments. That
True. I've activated your trap card now.
Heimskir's passion is flowing through me.
You mean the character that you called training practice? Your greatest speaker is Heimskir.
Listen. I said his passion is flowing through me, not his everything else.
He's throwing through my brain like a migraine.
Heimskir is destined for the black soul gem I have in my pocket, but his passion is commendable.
Well, on that rather zealous note, I believe it's time we begin the next round. These rounds are 3 minutes each, so Hal, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, it's all yours. Your 3 minutes start now.
I'll start off by just saying, where is the Septim Dynasty? Where is Martin? Yeah, they're all gone. Oh, so sad. But instead of being on the negative side, Your Honor, I'm just going to talk about the Emperor's drip, Your Honor. The master-crafted Auramite armor of the Emperor of Mankind is untouchable. Talos looks boring as hell. He is nothing compared to how majestic the Master of Mankind is. His custom armor, the scroll work, the gold. He has his custom black and bronze decorated bolter that he handcrafted himself. He also has his own Emperor's sword, which I mentioned earlier. Talos' sword is pretty boring. He didn't even touch it after a while. The Emperor's sword is alive with flame. He can even destroy a demon and grant it true death. I'm pretty sure Talos hasn't done anything of that kind. And the Emperor, to be in his presence, literally brings you to your knees. You literally weep tears of pure joy as you look upon humanity distilled. The Emperor is hope. He is strength and wisdom. He is the best of what humanity can achieve. He is thousands upon thousands of years of information and life distilled into one being. And maybe Talos is known as the Great Conqueror, but the Emperor is not just a conqueror. The Great Crusade itself is no simple conquest of the galaxy. It is a mission of enlightenment. It was part of the Emperor's salvation. He did not conquer the galaxy because he wanted to. He did it to save humanity. His desire is to unite all of us on the distant worlds in the Warhammer galaxy, and to bring them all into the safety of the webway. So I'm sure Talos just thought of making a nice empire. That was it. The Emperor is literally saving the entire human race as he brings us all into the safety of the webway and out of the influence of chaos. In there, he will build a united humanity empire itself, where the only things we have to worry about are exploring knowledge and just peace itself, peace and a new golden age. And the last thing I'll say about Talos is how useful was he towards the end? I mean, his throat got scarred. Dragonborn couldn't even be the Dragonborn after a certain amount of time. How useful is that? Essentially, he's just a bigged up bureaucrat, essentially sitting on a throne, and all he did was make a third attempt at an empire that eventually fell when the Oblivion Gate opened.
That's your time. Well,
I think
that was certainly. I know we said there would be a vitriolic final round, but that we're getting started now. Colin, how are you feeling?
I feel like he's given me plenty of ammunition for the third round, but I will save the vitriol for then, because I have plenty of actual points to make still for the next round.
Oh, I see how it is. Okay.
Well, are you ready to to put one in the chamber for the next round, shall we say?
I am.
Well, your time starts now.
Well, I'm glad you brought up, the subject of the bloodline, because, well, yes, they are gone. It's important to note that the last member of Tiber Septim's bloodline, after centuries of, it kind of being distilled as, you get further away from Talos himself, was still more than powerful enough to house the essence of a god and clown on a Daedric lord, a prince, pardon me. Just completely erase one of the gods of the... Not erase, but banish one of the gods of the universe. That's not even Tiber Septim. That's his great-great Lorecrimes' grandson. And you mentioned, he can't even shout anymore. For quite some time he could. And you might go, the Talos can unmake you with a word. And you might go, the Emperor could probably do that too. And he could. But the Emperor's psychic powers are psychic powers. Talos did not merely use magic. He brought his will into world and remade it, for such is the Thu'um. It's not mere magic. It is speaking power itself into a form and ruining your enemies with it, which is what he could. And, you mentioned you became a bit of a bureaucrat. I can't help but notice that the Emperor's end goal, if everything didn't go wrong, probably would have been much the same of just bureaucrat. So as far as I'm concerned, that just means that Talos was successful in his empire forging and didn't need to replace himself from emperor to chief chair sitter, as it were. I guess I lied a little bit about the vitriol, didn't I? But anyways, I can't help but notice again that whole godhood thing. He ascended to godhood successfully, and he did not need to steal from the chaos gods to do so. Such was the amazing power of Talos. And as for his drip, I feel I should defend it. First of all, Empire of Man, Talos, you can't beat the Roman drip. The Ultramarines, the best chapter, clearly agree with Talos in this one. The Roman-style drip is unparalleled. And you claim, he used the regular whatever sword. Well, just ignore again the Imperator Titan made out of magic and the heart of a dead god. It's powered by, ignore that weapon he has sitting in the corner. I notice you did not bring up Numidium. I won't ignore it. But his regular weapons, you go, ooh, they're not trippy. They're not gaudy is what they aren't. The Emperor of Tamriel, Talos, Tiber Septim, he knows class when he sees it. He appreciates the classics. He doesn't need to drip himself out with pure gold and gaudy nonsense. He's a down-to-earth man. He even had a winning smile. And most of all for this round, he doesn't treat his followers like dirt. He loves his followers. Give Heimskir some credit. Talos does love you. The Emperor doesn't give a damn about humanity.
He might love you, but that's your time, Colin. So, another thrilling round.
He might love you.
He loves you.
He does.
I do have a question for the both of you regarding this round, though. And it's something that I think you guys have both kind of mentioned, but I want you to elaborate. So the Emperor of Mankind is interred on the Golden Throne, and Talos has ascended to a god. who is actively doing more for their people in their ascended form? I'll start with Hal.
Well, the Emperor, just by existing, is the light of the Astronomicon. He's also holding back the tide of hell itself with his mind. The Emperor is also, as of the most recent lore, he has reawakened. The Emperor is out there fighting chaos as it is appearing. He's also imbuing his power into many parts, and he's also, in fact, took on Nurgle in Godblight, may I mention, and he, let's just say, resurrected your favorite man, your Roman drip, Mr. Gilliman, and he looked Nurgle in the face and told him to F off. So I think he's pretty...
Right.
He's out
okay,
there.
okay.
That was
all right,
pretty cool.
Colin, what's Talos been up to now that he is a god?
Well, I feel it's quite simple, and not even a contest on who's more important. He does appear among his worshippers. He actually does so in Morrowind. He does take on his own avatars and gets out and about every now and then. Most importantly, he's holding reality itself together. And if you kill Tiber Septim, you kill Talos, you unmake him, as the Thalmor intend to do, you don't have reality anymore. It just resets to 0. So, in terms of who's more important, the damn Altmer, who you should kill on sight. Just again,
Agreed.
kill all Thalmor on sight. Pelennor White Streak, nothing wrong. They succeed. No more anything. Not even no more warp travel. You could still sit on your planet. You just can't leave. No more anything.
I mean, there was a bit really early on where you guys mentioned about was it the Emperor looking into your mind to see who you're worshipping? It just reminds me of that. Is it that quest in Markarth where one of the Thalmor asks you to check someone's belongings to see if they have a pendant of Talos and tell them about it? Because Thalmor are terrible people.
Kill.
Kill him. Put a poison apple in his pocket. He won't notice. Okay, we have come to the final round. The round of vitriol. The most, shall we say, the round that might break friendships. So before we actually do this, I want to say to our viewers that we are all friends here. Whatever is said,
we're all united by the hate of the Thalmor.
Exactly, we're all friends here. We're not gonna
you sent.
we're gonna end this call after this, and we're all gonna, you're gonna pat each other on the shoulder and kiss each other on the cheek, and it'll be fine. But with that said, it is time, Hal, for your final statement of 1 minute. Are you ready?
Oh, see if I can fit this all in. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, well, your time starts now.
Enough of this Nazim sympathizer. Talos himself, as I said earlier, he was scarred across his throat. Maybe the Dragonborn, but couldn't use his shout after, very early in his career. That is awful. He achieved godhood, and the only thing he proceeded to do as a god was transform Cyrodiil into a discount meadow. That's all he's done with the godhood. He couldn't even conquer Hammerfell until he threw a dragon at it. He was scared of the tribunal. He had to negotiate with them because he knew he wasn't strong enough to take them. He couldn't even conquer the elves until he threw the dwarven Numidian. Yes, I did bring it up. He had to throw it at them because his armies that he made were not strong enough to take them on. The Emperor conquered the galaxy to save humanity, to bring them into the webway. Tiber Septim just did it because why not? And he also has the worst amulet in Skyrim. A cooldown on Thuum. Get that out of my face, bro. That's the worst one.
That's your lot. That's your lot. Oh, that was the amulet one. I felt my guts churn at the mention. Oh.
It's the worst one. I'm just saying.
It is pretty terrible. I gotta be honest. Right, very compelling stuff. Colin, are you ready for your final word? He's raring to go. Okay, Colin, your time starts now.
First of all, I'm sorry you've never known the sheer thrill of Fusro dying someone off a cliff and then being able to do it much sooner because of the cooldown on that amulet. First of all. Second of all, you know what? Again, lightning storm. The whole thing becomes lightning. Cooldown on shouts is amazing. But anyway, speaking of Emperor Mankind, he is nothing but failure. He failed with the Webway. He failed with the Suns. Half of them turned traitor against him. Half of the Mortal Army also turned traitor against him. Don't forget that. And you might think, oh, the webboy thing wasn't him, that was Magnus. Magnus is his son, who he created with his own power and science. And even, the charisma of a god that he has couldn't stop 9 of his kids from trying to put a dagger in his throat. Couldn't help but notice that Talos' followers love him utterly. And the closest thing to not liking Talos they have is temporarily halting public worship so they can kill the elves and then get back to it. Meanwhile, half the Emperor's son, hey, I hate my dad. Let's kill him. Let's shank him.
That's your minute, I'm afraid. No more.
I feel like he needed more.
You could tell Colin wasn't even started. He was like, I've still got so much to say.
1 minute is not near enough.
I'm going to shed a tear for the potentially losing Tamriel. The land so big I can walk across Skyrim in 15 minutes.
You play Arena and say that again.
Oh, that's true.
All right. This is a really interesting one. Because I guess it's up to me to cast my vote. Although, again, this is really up to the viewers. You've heard both sides of the debate, everyone who's been watching. So let us know in the comments who you thought did better. But I'm going to tell you what I think. So round 1 was very interesting. It was the most information dense. On Hal's side, he mentioned about, the fact that he is an incredibly powerful psyker. He was able to conquer massive foes such as the Void Dragon. He was a scholar, an artist, a scientist, and a warrior. He ascended from a mortal man, or a mortal man that was also, unkillable. So fair enough. And also, he actually went out into the stars and he conquered more than just one planet. Then we went to Colin, who talked about, he wasn't really, he did inherit gifts like the power of the Dragonborn, but he wasn't as, I suppose, overpowered from the start as the Emperor, but still also became a god whose death would basically sunder existence itself, had the power of infinite magic drawn from the sun, and these incredible creatures, I suppose you'd call it, like the Numidian. Round 2, Hal mentioned the drip, which I have to admit, Emperor's got really good drip, and those luscious locks. I don't know what conditioner he uses, but my word, Fabio looking good in the 41st millennium. Well, not anymore, I suppose. So the drip is cool, but nowadays the drip is gone. So he does have a very flashy sword that can literally unend beings that would otherwise be immortal, which is pretty cool. And he did have a bright future envisioned for humanity. But then again, Talos also had a bright vision, and he seemed to have a better shot at actually achieving it. I don't know. I mean,
where's that empire now? Where's the empire now?
Where is either empire to an extent? I mean, both are in a bad way.
Where are the traitor legions now?
And again,
away in my basement.
Talos does actively work to help his followers, as does Big E. This is a really tough one, I got to admit.
It can be a draw if you want.
But I will say,
comments.
But I will say I do like how Talos achieved his ascendancy and power through, essentially, as far as I understand, force of sheer will rather than stealing power, which is pretty cool. And then the third round, there was just a lot of dunking on the Talos amulet and Fooms. But then again, I do enjoy chucking people off mountains with Fusradar.
He's got the discount meadow. That's all he's done. Discount
but then
meadow.
Again, there is a lot of copy-pasted dungeons in Talos's, awesome little planet.
It's because he cleared them out well. He didn't let evil fester.
Right. And I will also mention that this is kind of a tricky one as well, because obviously one factor that works against Colin in this is that the Emperor in 40k is galaxy-wide, whereas Elder Scrolls is on a world. So I'm not going to.
My boy's still alive too. My guy's still around.
So is mine.
All right.
Off in the corner. It's just he's there like, I'll do something eventually. Like that's it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's a question for you, Hal. Is the Emperor actually dead and he is reborn as a god in the Immaterium, or is he still a mortal man that's just very powerful?
The answer is both.
That sounds like a cop out to me. I don't know.
It's true. He dies and resurrects every day, and he's has godlike power.
And because I'm just saying, I mean, Colin, am I wrong in remembering that good old Sean Bean Martin was inhabited by the spirit of Talos, in that he was gifted his powers briefly for fighting? Is it what's his name? Dagoth?
Maroon's Dagon.
Maroon's Dagon. I mean,
wasn't that not Talos? That was
Akatosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Akatosh. Oh, so if that's the case, then I'm just trying to think of what Talos has been up to as a.
Yeah, where's he been? He doesn't do anything.
But he said he shows been Marwyn and he's holding reality itself together.
What, just by existing?
Yes!
That's it.
Yes!
He just sits there. He sits.
And
My God, it's a
giving
dust
out his blessings to worshippers and helping those.
The 20% cooldown to people who can't use the food.
That's the game mechanic. It is more than that.
Okay. Settle down. I have made my decision. It was a very close one, I have to admit. The viewers might not agree with me, but I will have to say that my decision is Talos the mighty,
Yeah.
Talos the unerring, Talos the unassailable. To you we give praise, but we are but maggots writhing in the filth of our own corruption, while you have ascended from the dung of mortality.
Did you pull that
and
up?
now walk among the stars. So that's my answer, I'm afraid.
Did you have that
it was a
pulled
close thing.
Did you have that ready?
I might have. I had 2 quotes, and then my decision I would do a fun one. So the person who won my vote for that one was Colin, the undefeated versus man so far.
I can't win a damn quiz, but I can win the person.
I was going to say, I feel
Any
like
argument,
the trend is
any
going to be
time.
Hal is going to dominate the quizzes, and Colin might dominate the debate. So that was a lot of fun, though. So you two, kiss and make up. Come on.
I'm not sure we actually should kiss on camera.
Let's go.
That's for the
Smooch noise.
eventual Patreon.
I would need to stretch quite far, so.
Well, either way, I think that was a bit of fun, and we're all friends. We're all friends.
That's what you get for Nazim sympathizers.
That was the most heinous thing you threw at me.
I know.
That was uncalled for. I think I'd rather be called a Thalmor supporter.
Oh dear. I mean, have you ever been to the Sky? No, of course not. And on that note, this has been Warhammer Versus. Do we have any closing thoughts from either of you about the debate and how it went?
Kill Thalmor on sight.
Kill Thalmor on sight.
That's all we'll say. Kill Thalmor on sight.
Fair enough.
Total death.
Well, I guess with that said, thank you all so much for watching the video. If you feel inclined, please leave us a like or a comment. Tell us what you thought and who you thought should have won the debate. And other than that, go out to your local game shortstop or games place. Get Skyrim, dig it out of the closet or the game library of your Xbox or PlayStation or PC, wherever, and boot it up just so you can kill a few Thalmor. And I guess we'll see you in the next episode.
Catch you next time, boys.
Take care, everyone. Throw Murr into trash compactors.